So why didn't you pursue your career in academics where there is really dearth of talents?
What are your plans to make it a little diverse?
Whether do you want integration of Azad, Jammu and Kashmir or not?
Why? What is the rationale for keeping two seats separate for Kashmiri Pandits?
So you believe that you carry a linear personality?
Why Jammu and Kashmir is a point of discussion if we discuss between India and Pakistan.
May I come in, sir?
Yes, come in.
Good morning, sir. Good
Good
morning, ma'am.
Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Please give a brief introduction about yourself.
Sir, my name is Parsanjeet Kour. I belong from district Poonch of Jaamu and Kashmir. I was born and brought up in district Poonch itself. After completing my schooling from my home district, I graduated in the year 2020 from Government Degree College Poonch. Then I pursued my masters from University of Jammu and I completed it in 2022. Since then, I have been preparing for civil services. In 2023, sir, I was selected into Jammu Kashmir Public Services. Though as of now, we have not joined it. With regard to UPSC and civil services, this is my first attempt here, sir. And as an individual, I take interest in teaching.
Parsanjeet, I was asking you the same question. Academically, you have done so well, both at the graduation level and at the post-graduation level, having scored 9.17 on a scale of 10. It's not a small achievement. So why didn't you pursue your career in academics where there is really dearth of talents?
Sir, there are many reasons why I have chosen civil services instead of academics. The first thing, sir, is that I belong from a very humble background, and from that background I want to create an identity for myself, and I think civil services is the best platform in that regard. Moreover, sir, if I will go into research and then after that into higher education sector, I would be associated with only limited number of students and I would be able to benefit only those people, not to the masses. So in order to get in touch with the masses and to benefit those people, I chose this area.
So you want, Parsanjeet, what you want to convey to us that the teachers in our country, the research scholars in our country, they don't have any identity. They lack identity, isn't it?
Sir, it is not the case, but personally I was more interested in civil services than in research. Experiments and the entire process did not interest me a lot.
Okay. So what do you mean by delimitation?
Sir, delimitation refers to the process in which the geographical identity of constituencies are designed for the elections into the legislature.
So, Delimitation Commission was set up in Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, sir.
What are the broad recommendations of the Delimitation Commission?
Sir, very recently Delimitation Commission for Jammu Kashmir has put forward its recommendations. The very first recommendation is that there would be about 114 seats in our legislature. About 24 seats have been reserved for the POK region and rest for the Jammu and Kashmir. The second thing, sir, about 7 seats are reserved for the SC category and about 9 seats for the ST category. In addition to it, sir, there has been also a provision for the reservation of the Kashmiri Pandits. In addition to it, some of the constituencies have been renamed. For example, the area of North Kathua has been renamed as Jasrota. And the area of South Kathua has been renamed as Kathua only. And so these are the broad limitations.
Why 24 seats, as you have mentioned, have been kept earmarked for POK?
Sir, POK is and will always be an integral part of Jammu and Kashmir. Though for time being it has been under the control of Pakistan, but we always assure that those people are actually the people of India only and they are the citizens of India. That is why we have kept their due share in that.
Why? What is the rationale for keeping two seats separate for Kashmiri Pandits?
Sir, Kashmiri Pandits are the people who are belonging from the Saraswat Brahmin community. These people faced mass exodus from Jammu and Kashmir in 1990s. And now we have a provision for reservation to these people so that they can get adequately represented in the legislature and their voice should be better heard.
What is the constitutional basis for the delimitation?
Sir, in Constitution, to the best of my knowledge, Article 82 provides for this delimitation.
Okay. Now let us talk something about Ladakh also. What are the issues Ladakh is facing and why?
Sir, if I consider the present situation, the chief issue which Ladakh is facing is actually its political identity. Ladakh for a long period has been demanding the statehood title, and the protest is going on in this regard.
So what is the solution? Suppose you are given mandate to find a solution to the Ladakh problem, then what will you suggest?
Sir,
and why?
I will suggest strengthening of the hill development councils which were set up in Ladakh in 1995. I think its strengthening would be the way forward for the time being, because statehood as of now is something which cannot be afforded to Ladakh considering its situation. So I think strengthening of hill development councils.
That is what you suggest.
Yes, sir.
Any job reservation for the locals you will promote?
Sir, it may be thought of, because Ladakh for a very long period of time has been economically backward when compared to rest of Jammu and Kashmir. In this regard, we may think of such reservation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Parsanjeet.
Yes, sir.
What is the meaning of Parsanjeet?
Sir, the word Parsanjeet is made up of two words, Prasan and Jeet. Prasan relates to delighted and Jeet relates to victory. So it means delighted victory.
Okay, so right now you are feeling the same?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can also feel that. Parsanjeet? Parsanjeet, when we visit Poonch area,
Yes, sir.
so there is a signboard, welcome to Poonch, that is the Valley of Seven Lakes.
Yes, sir.
What are these 7 lakes?
Sir, there are lakes like Nandan sir, Sukh sir, Neel sir, Kaldachni sir, Katora sir, Bhag sir. Sir, I am able to recall only 6.
6. And what was 7? You have visited all these places?
Sir, no.
You have not visited
No,
these
sir.
places. Have you visited another tourist attractions in Poonch?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have visited LOC Trade Center in Poonch, which is known as Chakha Di Bagh, from where trade is conducted in the Pakistan region. Similarly, sir, I have visited Buddha Amarnath Ji's shrine, where every year there is actually a huge procession that takes place. I have also visited Gurudwara Nangali Sahib. These are some of the important places.
How this Buddha Amarnath temple is different from main temple, that is Amarnath temple? What is the difference between the two?
Sir, if we consider the name only, Buddha Amarnath, Buddha means somewhat old. It is believed that God Shiva actually started narrating Amar Katha to goddess Parvati at this place only, and then they started moving towards the Amarnath Ji's cave located at Anantnath.
Okay.
That is why, sir.
That's wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Parsanjeet, when you talk about the economies of two very, very famous temples, one that is the Amarnath temple and second that is Vaishno Devi, okay? Do you have any idea about their economies, how economically they are significant to GDP of Jammu and Kashmir?
Sir, if we consider both of these temples, Vaishno Devi temple and the Amarnath Ji's shrine, both of them are very important for economy of Jammu and Kashmir. Many tourists from across the country visit these areas every year, and as such, when the tourist comes, sir, they definitely will bring economic worth for the local people. Local people are able to sell their products to these tourists. Also, the hotel industry that will also flourish along with the transport industry, sir. And moreover, sir, it is not only the financial aspects, it is actually related to the values which these tourists bring with them to this area. So, people of Jammu Kashmir are very benefited from these.
Okay, so that not only the economically, as you have just said, I think it's also a kind of leading to some sort of integration.
Yes, sir.
You have done zoology. There is just only one zoological park in the entire Jammu and Kashmir. Can you recollect the name?
Sorry, sir, I will look into it.
There are 5 national parks besides that.
Yes, sir.
Name them.
Sir, we have Dachigam National Park. We have Kishtwar High Altitude National Park. We also have, sir, I will look into
No problem. Last question from you.
it. Yes, sir.
Because Parsanjeet, you belong to Poonch area, and generally whenever we ask questions from persons living outside Jammu and Kashmir regarding the problems of Jammu and Kashmir and their solution. Now tell me, post 370 situation, scenario. Now, what is the challenge? What are the three important challenges and how to solve them?
Sir, as a region, Jammu Kashmir is facing number of challenges. The first one definitely would be the challenge of extremism and radicalization seen in people. And I think, sir, soft, hybrid and hard approach together will help to solve this situation. The second thing, sir, is definitely the issue of connectivity. And I think better road construction would be the way in that regard. And sir, the third thing I would say is the limited economic development in Jammu Kashmir. We do not have much of the industries in Jammu and Kashmir, and as such, employment situation is not much good there. So I think by focusing on these, we will be able to have a very good picture for Jammu Kashmir.
So your selection in civil services will also boost the morale of girls in Jammu and Kashmir, or
Yes,
not?
sir. Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay, last objective kind of question. Whether do you want integration of Azad Jammu and Kashmir or not?
Sir, I will definitely say yes, but not for the time being.
So why not for the
Sir,
time being?
this is because of the fact that if we consider Jammu and Kashmir, particularly Kashmir region, people do not feel much secure about their integration with Jammu and Kashmir. If we will integrate POK region as of now, it may increase problems for India and the stability in Jammu and Kashmir region at large.
What kinds of problem? Just name one or two.
Sir, internal stability would be an issue. Terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir would definitely be an issue, and the infiltration across the border would increase.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Parsanjeet.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Parsanjeet. How are you?
Sir, I am fine.
Parsanjeet, you have taken zoology as your option.
Yes, sir.
We always talk about diversity when we study zoology, right?
Yes, sir.
Then why is your personality so linear? I don't see anything except studies in your entire life. Tell me the areas on the basis of which you can say that you carry a diverse personality.
Sir, though I would say I have been very limited in the extracurricular activities because I focused more on my studies.
So you believe the studies are better than extracurricular activities?
Sir, I do not entirely believe it, but
my question is, give me the aspects of your personality which proves that you carry a diverse personality which is required to become a civil servant.
Sir, I like to
teach, which is academics. What else?
Sorry, sir.
So you believe that you carry a linear personality?
Up to some extent, sir.
What are your plans to make it a little diverse?
Sir, I would like to learn music in my life. And similarly, I would also like to learn something related to dance also, because as
you're waiting to get into civil services to do this?
Sir, no. Each and every opportunity, actually, I want to first of all become financially independent of myself, so that I may not get dependent on anyone else. And it is only after that.
You visited Gurdwaras?
Sir, yes.
Which music is played on?
Sir, it is Shabad.
Shabad. Generally, what are the prominent ragas in Shabad?
Sorry, sir.
Okay, get back to academics then. Zoology?
Yes, sir.
What is the structure of Zoological Survey of India?
Sir, Zoological Survey of India was constituted in the year 1916. Its headquarters is present in Kolkata, and it coordinates with IUCN to list the species which are endangered.
Is it an ongoing survey, or it's a survey which is conducted after a certain period of time?
Sir, Zoological Survey of India is actually an institute. Yes, sir.
And there's no survey done?
It does periodic analysis, sir.
Periodic analysis.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me, if we look at the Jammu and Kashmir, and you're a zoology student, what exactly is the fauna of Jammu and Kashmir, prominent features of fauna of Jammu and Kashmir which you'd like to mention?
Sir, we in Jammu and Kashmir have a rich flora as well as fauna. If we consider fauna, we have a number of species in Jammu and Kashmir. For example, sir, we have Hangul deer. We also have Himalayan brown bear. In addition to it, sir, we also have some species of teher and also a number of species of birds which are present in Jammu and Kashmir.
And what is the prominent, as we say, the cornerstone species?
Sir,
forget it. If you compare the fauna of Jammu and Kashmir with, say, the Eastern Himalayas fauna, what are the major difference you'll find?
Sir, if we consider Eastern Himalayas, particularly in the area of the northeast, if we consider, rainfall there is comparatively higher as compared to Jammu and Kashmir, and so we can expect that the animals which will live there will have adaptation to high humid conditions also, and also to higher rainfall.
Okay, you have mentioned that you like education.
Yes, sir.
What are the NEP provisions that will have a greater bearing on Jammu and Kashmir?
Sir, National Education Policy 2020 has a number of provisions that would definitely affect and benefit not only Jammu Kashmir but also rest
Specific
of the
about
country.
Jammu Kashmir.
Sir, it has a provision for vernacular language promotion also, and in this regard many of the vernacular languages of Jammu and Kashmir like Pahari, Gojri, they would definitely be uplifted. In addition to it, sir, the people of Jammu and Kashmir, the students, they will be benefited since they will be instructed in their mother tongue. Also, sir, there has been a provision of vocational training also, and Jammu Kashmir people and Jammu Kashmir student would be benefited by this because they will be able to get better skills in this regard, starting from their very school age itself.
Fine, thank you. So,
Thank you, sir.
Parsanjeet,
Yes, sir.
you used to speak which dialect?
Sir,
Any dialect you used to speak?
sir, we used to prefer Hindi only.
Prefer.
Yes, sir.
But generally you used to talk
Sir, we
with your-
have local Pahari language, Poonchi language.
Poonchi language.
Yes, sir.
How many dialects are there in Jammu and Kashmir?
Sorry, sir.
You don't
I
have.
will look into it.
Poonchi dialect you used
Yes,
to.
sir.
Could you please introduce yourself in Poonchi?
मेरा नाम परसनजीत कौर है और मैं डिस्ट्रिक्ट पूंछ की रहने वाली हूँ और ये मेरा यूपीएससी विच पहला अटेम्प्ट है. Yes, sir.
Poonchi is almost kind of Hindi.
Yes, sir. Almost similar to it.
What are differences between Poonchi and Khadi Hindi, Khadi Boli?
Sir, linguistically there have been some differences. Also, sir, when it comes to Poonchi, we do not have any written text as such. It is more or less based on oral perception.
Oral perception. Is
Yes,
there
sir.
any script of Poonchi?
No, sir.
Okay. You belongs to Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes, sir.
You came to Delhi. You were currently in Delhi.
Yes, sir.
So, is there anything which appeals you that you have to take if something happens here in Delhi? You could have taken it to Jammu and Kashmir, or something which appeals to you from Jammu and Kashmir to take it to Delhi. And what are those things?
Sir,
At least 2-3 things you should
okay,
tell.
sir. Sir, if I consider from Delhi to Jammu and Kashmir, definitely one would be the progressive thoughts which people have. The second would be slightly more degree of independence which a Delhiite enjoys as compared to what we have in Jammu and Kashmir. And the third one, I think, would be better prospects in terms of education, in terms of health in Delhi. From Jammu Kashmir, what I would like to bring here would be, the first thing would be better weather conditions.
Okay.
And the second thing, sir, I would say is somewhat calm and peace in the life, because in Delhi or in any big city, life is very complex as well as busy. So I think that is something.
You know about world's highest railway bridge?
Yes, sir.
Where it is situated?
Sir, it is under construction in Jammu and Kashmir in the region of Kishtwar. It will connect Kishtwar to that of Anantnag, and it is built over Chenab River. It is believed that it is about 30 meters taller than Eiffel Tower.
30 meter highest from Eiffel Tower.
It is believed.
How many commissionerate are in Jammu and Kashmir?
Sorry, sir.
What are the differences between lieutenant governor and governor?
Sir, there are many differences between the two. The very first thing is that the office of the governor is mentioned in the part 6 of Indian Constitution, whereas in the case of LG we find reference in part 8. The second thing, sir, when it comes to governor, it enjoys broad functions in the state, but an LG is considered to be a representative of center in the union territory. Moreover, sir, if we consider numerically, we have a number of governors in our country, but the number of LGs are very restricted.
Why Jammu and Kashmir is a point of discussion if we discuss between India and Pakistan?
Sir, there are many reasons for the same. The first one, starting from the historical perspective of the decision of Maharaja Hari Singh in this regard. The second thing, sir, is the dispute of the Indus water and its sharing between the two countries. And these are two major issues, sir.
Okay. If you compare Jammu with Kashmir Valley, I would say.
Yes, sir.
So what are the differences and what are similarities?
Sir, if I consider the differences first, the first one would be climatic. If we consider Jammu, we have a subtropical climate, but in Kashmir there is a temperate region. The second thing, sir, I would say about the demography. In Jammu, we have a predominant Hindu population, but in Kashmir, we have a predominant Muslim population. The third thing, sir, I would say is regarding the tourist potential. Kashmir has a slightly more tourist potential as compared to Jammu, and many people actually visit that area as compared to the Jammu region if I consider. The fourth will be the internal security situation. In Kashmir, it is slightly more complex, or we will say it is not that much normal as it's seen in the Jammu region.
Okay, if you have to compare demographic differences, if we see okay, Pakistan occupied Kashmir and our side Kashmir, could you compare
Sir,
these both?
Yes, sir, definitely. Sir, if we consider Jammu and Kashmir, which is part of India, we have a demography that is more or less very similar to what was existing in 1947. But in the region of POK, which is under Pakistan control, in 1974, there was an order which was brought out by the Pakistani government, allowing people from rest of the country to buy land in that area. So there has been a major demographic change in POK region, but we in Jammu Kashmir have more or less the similar situation.
In POK, what kind of people are residing recently in general?
Sir, I think they are majorly followers of Islam.
Followers of Islam. Okay, if you have to give my last question, 5 major achievements of current central government.
Yes, sir. The first one, sir, I will say in the social sector. The first one, sir, would be the e-governance sector. We have massive improvement in that regard. The second one, sir, if I consider agriculture, we have the schemes like PM Kusum, which have brought massive benefits to our farmers. The third thing, sir, if I consider the area of the education, new education policy of 2020 is definitely a hallmark in that regard. The fourth thing, sir, if I consider international prospects, India has been broadening its ambit in that area also. At present, we are the chairman of G20. Also, we hold the seat in the SCO. So, that is another important area. And the fifth one I would be suggesting is the internal stability in the country, be it the Naxal hit region, be it the northeast, or be it the Jammu and Kashmir. Situation is improving as compared to what it had been traditionally. So I think so these are some of the major achievements.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Parsanjeet.
Yes, ma'am.
As a student of zoology, can you tell me that despite the fact that tiger, lion and leopard belong to the same genus, but they belong to different species, how did that happen? What led to them belonging to different species despite having the same ancestor?
Ma'am, lion, tiger and leopard, both of these definitely belong from different species, and that divergence actually took place during the course of evolution. When these species inhabited different areas, as per the modern theory of the evolution, they evolved according to that area. Variations were incorporated in them, followed by natural selection and isolation, and ultimately, ma'am, this led to the variation.
Okay, what is the specific demarcation to call an individual or an organism to be belonging to different species?
Ma'am, though there are many criteria, but the most important one is actually the ability of the organisms to reproduce with one another. If they are able to do so, then they are broadly regarded as members of one species only. Apart from it, ma'am, we also have some morphological basis on which we come to that conclusion.
Okay. Recently, we have had the tiger census, and we are also celebrating 50 years of Project Tiger. And we have seen that consistently we have increased the population and numbers of tiger in India. On the other hand, we are also seeing the increasing number of man-wildlife conflict. Do you feel that there should be a deadline to this Project Tiger, keeping in view the man-wildlife conflict?
Ma'am, I do not feel that a deadline concept will help to resolve this matter. Instead, I think cooperation among the government, the people is the must. Along with it, we need to promote the tribal people who are actually living in the forest, and they can help to truly guard these organisms. So I do not believe.
But if the numbers of the top predator continues to increase, obviously we would need more land to provide them with the habitat, and there would come a time when we will run out of the land because we have increasing human population also. Do you still feel that Project Tiger is sustainable?
Ma'am, our ecosystem is self-sustaining. It is having the ability to sustain each and every individual up to a limit. We cannot say that tigers will go on increasing in an unsustainable level. There are many checks both natural like the diseases or the forest fire, and that will bring their population down to a sustainable level. We have a carrying capacity in our ecosystem, ma'am.
Coming to the Forest Rights Act that was implemented in the region from which you come, but still the tribals themselves have not been very happy with the way it has been implemented. What are the issues with respect to it?
Ma'am, many people are charged under Forest Right Act, but ma'am, unfortunately majority of them are actually the tribal people who are dependent upon the forest for collection of the minor.
The Forest Rights Act is basically to provide them with their traditional rights on forest. Why are they being charged under it?
Ma'am, frequently there have been some misunderstandings on the part of the security agencies, and that is why frequently they are booked under it.
And has something been done about it?
Sorry ma'am.
No idea. Okay, my last question to you. We do see that India's relation with Pakistan have been on cold track for quite some time. What do you feel is good for the region, that is Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh region, or for its development, whether having good relationship with Pakistan or the way the things stand right now?
I think progress can take place only in a peaceful environment, and similar will be the situation in Jammu Kashmir. If Jammu Kashmir wants to progress, then definitely there is a need of peaceful environment with Pakistan. Unless and until we have that peace, there would be infiltrations, there would be problems, and I cannot think
then
of...
why isn't government paying heed to this aspect? Because having this cold relation is not helping anybody. It's just that we are taking a grandstanding on the issue of certain things, that unless the Pakistan doesn't nudge, we won't be going forward and be in the conversation with them. Ultimately, the losses of India and in the long run. So why isn't government trying anything from its end?
Ma'am, government is trying everything and it is engaging in talks with Pakistan. We also have some smart border defense installments across Jammu and Kashmir. But ma'am, this is actually a historic issue and it will take time to settle. Moreover, in Pakistan, ma'am, we do not have only elected government. We also have a military which actually controls the major affairs of the state. So I think, ma'am, it will take time to settle, but government is taking its due.
Thank you, President.
Sanjeet, you know MSME?
Yes, sir.
Suppose you are posted district head in Poonch. How will you encourage MSMEs there?
Sir, in order to give encouragement to MSMEs, first thing I would ensure is the availability of loans to these people, since that is actually an issue for them. The second thing would be the awareness of these people to the government schemes. We in Jammu Kashmir have an initiative known as SAAT, targeted at these MSMEs. So I will ensure that initiative is informed to the people. Moreover, sir, I would ensure that whatever products these are manufacturing, that is actually sold to the targeted people. Very recently, we had some initiative in which there was a MOU signed with a group Misho for the selling of their products. So I think by all these methods, I would be able to revive their situation.
What do you mean by cluster development program in the context of MSME?
Sorry, sir, I will look into it.
Okay, thank you very much, Parsanjeet. It was nice talking to you. Your interview is over. You may go now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Sit down, Parsanjeet. Sanjeet, this is your first attempt, na?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, how about today's experience?
Sir, it was good. I found myself somewhat, I was not able to articulate some questions, but otherwise it was...
You see, Parsanjeet, keeping in view your age profile, keeping in view the way you interacted with us, we can very convincingly say that you are an excellent candidate for the civil services. You have all the qualities of becoming a very good civil servant. Okay, you have views on everything, views were quite balanced, you know the questions, basically the intent of questions, and try to explain, give answers the best of your abilities. That is civil servant should appear to be, isn't it?
Sir.
So first of all, let me, before going into details and all that, let me ask about your sense of dressing. Are you going to go for the interview with this dress only?
Sir, I will change the dress, but I will keep the coat.
you'll keep the coat. What is the significance of keeping the coat, you tell me?
Sir, I feel I will be comfortable, otherwise my shoulders will drop.
I don't know, you will be wearing a sari or you will be
No
wearing
sir,
this
I
only?
will be wearing another dress.
But this suit only?
Yes sir.
Suit only?
Yes sir.
And with a coat on?
Sir, I'm thinking of it.
Okay, I mean, it's your choice, but it gives us a somewhat very, very kind of a formal look. Because you see, there is a difference between working in a government setup and working in a corporate setup.
Yes sir.
If you go for an interview for a job in a corporate setup, it makes sense.
I will remove it sir, no problem.
I think you
Okay,
talk
sir.
to people also. Our advice to you will be that you should not be wearing coat.
I will not be
Isn't it?
wearing it sir.
So that is important.
Okay sir.
So don't bother about your drooping shoulder and all that. That is not an important of any consequence. Consequence is your matter here, isn't
Yes,
it?
sir.
That is what is important. You are a girl from Jammu and Kashmir. We tried to ask you certain questions. So your interview is only on 18th, not much time, and you are absolutely well informed. So just by way of reiteration, I am telling you that you should prepare Jammu and Kashmir thoroughly. Number one is historical perspective. Why Article 370 was imposed, what was the significance of Article 35A, how 35A was different from 370, you must be aware of all that.
Okay sir.
And what was historical perspective, isn't it? And was it temporary in nature or permanent in nature and all that. Now in coming back to 2019, why Article 370 was abrogated, why Article 35A was withdrawn,
Okay sir.
and what are the consequences of that, and what has been the controversy also in the
Okay sir.
public domain,
Okay,
isn't
sir.
it? Because there is one school of thought, there is other school. Your opinion is what it should be, what you have said. But perspectives, if somebody asks you, you should be able to know the perspectives also.
Okay sir.
So arising out of that is delimitation commission, its
Yes, sir.
recommendations, and why it has become controversial. That is also important to know for you. And assembly constituency, parliamentary constituency, how parliamentary constituencies were redrawn and all that, boundaries were redrawn and all that, that you should be knowing fully. So Jammu and Kashmir, including your this thing, Ladakh,
Okay sir.
about Mr. Wangchuk, his contributions and all that, you should be knowing. And what exactly is the demand from the state government of, from the state of people of Ladakh and all that, and why they find that bureaucrats in the state are not behaving properly. That is also one of the issues of concern for them. And zoology, some questions will be asked, and I think with a kind of knowledge and all that, you will be able to handle those questions. Teaching is your hobby in a way.
Yes sir.
So teaching is your hobby, some general questions and some specific questions related to new education policy.
Okay sir.
So issues of training of teachers in the new education policy, the system per se, then setting up of foreign universities, their campuses in our country, getting dual degrees and all that. Those are very important. Teaching of engineering and all through regional languages and all that. So those questions are very general in nature. So we should have knowledge of that and a specific opinion on these issues.
Okay sir.
That is very important for you. You are a woman, so woman-centric issues may be asked,
Okay sir.
particularly in the field of social inclusion, and also more so the how you have perceived life of a woman in an urban center like Delhi and that of a Poonch, how they are distinctly different, and we try to touch upon that issue. But what are the different ethos going into all that, and what needs to be developed, needs to be done to ensure that women are made more empowered, particularly in the rural India, and what initiatives have been taken by the government
Okay
in
sir.
the field of social inclusion and also in the field of financial inclusion.
Okay sir.
And you are again from Jammu and Kashmir, government has been spending a lot of money, isn't it? In what areas that funding is being done, how the funding is being done, and are you witnessing any developments taking place there or not? If so, in which fields and all that?
Okay sir.
You cited example of Ministry of Railways constructing a bridge and all that. Similarly, so many other schemes have been launched. And basically the framework under which the money is getting to the state government.
Okay, sir.
That is important. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And you are a wonderful candidate. Just have conviction in yourself, belief in yourself, maintain your cool, calm composure, and be honest to yourself and be honest in your answers.
Okay, sir.
And you will be getting very good marks in the personality test, and we are pretty confident that you have really done well in geology and other papers. You will be successful in the very first attempt.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, all the best to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.